So yeah, one of the things that we came in here and we decided to do to not only educate and help out the crypto community as a whole, but to help people not go through the same kind of circumstance that you've been through. There's a lot of scams out there in the crypto community. We don't want to see it. No one wants to be a part of it, obviously. And a lot's come to light as we've investigated more to the extent of what's been really going on and how these people are doing it. And part of uncovering that story is telling people's stories, telling people's history with people like this and their association with people like this. Because when we tell a story, we start to uncover things, and when we ask certain questions about those uncoverings, we find more, and that really helps, for investigative purposes, the whole of the story, and makes it more holistic. So that's my goal here, is to share a story and basically just document a story.
Okay.
And you don't have to use personal information, of course, like completely up to you. We just want to hear what happened so we can kind of put out the facts so people don't go through what you went through.
Okay.
So yeah, the floor is yours. You go ahead. Or Keegan, you can lead it and kind of ask questions if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just do it as an interview kind of style, and it'll be, very informal. So, just a curious question to start, and to give people an introduction who may be listening. Again, this is about, some of the scams that have gone on in the crypto community. We have someone who's remaining anonymous here, Crypto Granny. She came into our community, Ethereum Max community, and she had mentioned that she had been scammed, and these individuals had kind of put her into a group. I want to let her take the floor and explain from her side how it started, and kind of how this all transpired. So take the floor there, Granny, and let us know your side of the story.
Okay. I started dabbling in crypto about mid-May. And maybe it was the beginning of May. And I was told about this guy who's been really helping people make a lot of money. And so I got into a group, and he had a big following, or it seemed to be a big following, but it was growing exponentially each day. And he was talking about launching coins, and that we'll be able to get in early, and then they would be able to grow, and we would see our money, it would be fairly fast. He would always stipulate that it was a long-term hold. And so I don't remember the first coin that I got in on. I think it was SHIB, that was that was kind of faltering, I think, at that point. So I put a little bit into that, and it kind of just went flat. Then there was, I don't remember exactly the order, but I got into Boom Baby, Bezos, um, Peeps. There's like 4 or 5 different coins that every time I got in on it, actually Peeps is the only one that I got in early, but the the rest of them, I would get into it. There would be a lot of us in the group would talk about, how hopeful we were and stuff. And we would get into it, and then the numbers would just tank. And we were told, remember, it's a long-term hold. Don't worry about it. It'll come back up. It'll come back up. But just keep pumping money into it. But every time we put money into it, and it would get, like a quarter of all-time high, it would then dump again, and we couldn't figure it out. Then we were told, oh, it's bots. Don't worry, we're working on the code. It'll get sorted out. And then just keep putting money into it. So we were putting money into it, but every time we would get to a point where it started to make a little gain, never getting anywhere close to the all-time high, it would just dump again. And I couldn't figure it out. And it felt like it was very cyclical. And I was getting ready to I was just bleeding money. So I was like, this is crazy. I got into Emacs, and then because of these other coins, people were encouraging going through the group saying, cash out and put into this other coin. It's going to launch, it's going to be huge. And I saw people doing that. Fortunately for me, I was able to stay. What I was doing was diversifying. I was not cashing out and then buying back in. I just held my position. And then I would, instead of focusing on a particular coin and building up my holdings, I was spreading it out, not realizing that I was just funding these people and their operation. And
So
there was no gain for me. I was losing money. And when I could have been focusing on one solid, good project and getting my position up, because, I think that I have found now the project that it's operating with integrity, it's operating with concern for the community, and they're transparent. All the other coins, it was anything but. They had to stay anonymous. They were worried about getting doxxed. And all of a sudden, it just dawned on me, well, if you're so fearful of your own community, what does that say? And then in the last week, everything started to come to light. And the people that I was following, the people that I was being loyal to, that I was funding basically unknowingly, these are not people of character, and I would not even have these type of people in my home. So I was shattered thinking that I was trusting them with my future. I didn't lose, like, these people have millions of dollars. And I heard on some of the things that have come to light, them literally laughing about people investing in these coins, like we should have known better.
so just to give some context here, this is kind of the general um, outline of what we've discovered in some of the audios that we've been able to pull up and share with our community. Now, to the group specific that you were involved with, is there any names that you're willing to disclose of this particular group that you were with? And if not, it's okay. It's totally fine. It's totally up to you. Just to help protect other people from this kind of stuff, and kind of warn them of the signs of the behavior, the type of people that are putting them into these groups, or asking them to be along with these groups. Because what I would be looking for in this question would be, how do these people act and how do they behave to get people to feel that that sense of belonging in that group, and get them really forking their money out for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, the group's name is In Russ We Trust. And like I didn't have one-on-one contact with Russ, but Justin, I don't, his last name I think is Meyer. He's the one that he was a moderator in that group. And when people would ask questions, his tone, he was very demeaning and insulting.
How so?
So I couldn't figure out why he would trash. He trashed one coin, Emacs, and basically was like, you guys are, he was just very insulting when someone would ask a question or make a comment about Emacs is having a great day, and he would just kind of shit talk it, excuse my language, but I couldn't figure that out because it was literally one of the pics that was in the group. And then he would kind of direct the conversation. He wouldn't, by not talking disparagingly about other coins, it kind of led you to believe that that's where you needed to focus. But I couldn't understand why, when at the time my holdings in Emacs, yes, they were down, but there was more engagement in that group, and there was more engagement with the developers than in any of the other coins. So I held fast on that. And he literally said in one of the chats, or not chats, but in the forum, that if we were holding, we were just stupid, we were fools. And he was laughing about it.
So you're saying
And
as part of this group, this
I was
gentleman,
concerned that maybe I was being stupid, but then as things came out, I realized that if I had, I mean, it was just shattering, because then I realized the whole thing was a game to him, and he didn't care that people were hurting.
can
I
you hear
was
me?
hurting.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Just on that point, this was an admin or a moderator, whichever one you want to call it, within this group, correct?
That's correct.
And this was
And I posted
said
questions
what?
saying, if you are a moderator in this group, why are you trashing a coin that was one of Russ's picks?
Right.
And then I tagged Russ in that, saying, you need to fix this because he's trashing your own picks. And I never got a response, but people were starting to take notice that why is he insulting the community? But nobody addressed it. And he was just there to be able to run off with his mouth and really confuse the people and undermine their trust in the projects that they were investing in. And it was just like mocking the community.
As an investor on that side of things, what what kind of stuff are you going through mentally? Like, what I hear some of the questions you're definitely asking, but just to be kind of live on scene with what you were experiencing, what are you doing at this point about this stuff? Like, what's your mind saying, and what are you doing at this point?
Well, given what I've learned this week, I have disbanded from any coins that were associated with that group, with the exception of Emacs, because I've lost, basically, my mother had passed away in January, and I used a small amount of money that she left me to get into crypto because I was hoping to recover the expenses of funerals and stuff. Long story short, we had 4 people die within months of each other, and so I'm just recouping some of those expenses. I have a roof over my head. It's not about that, but it was just using this money to try and hope to lift ourselves up out of a tough year and situation. And so when I saw the character of the people that I was following and the way that they were so demeaning and having absolutely no remorse, no accountability, um, it it made me rethink the whole crypto opportunity. And but then I put my focus on, to be honest, this one coin, this one project, because the engagement and I it's just it was I can see the difference now between a project that's being run with integrity versus a project that is just like a slam bam where they want to get people in and so that they can get out as quick as they can. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of our goals here is to, 'cause you mentioned you were a new investor, and, some of us have obviously uncovered quite a lot within the communities of crypto, and understood that, it's not always necessarily an honest game that some of these people are playing. We have audios that are recorded around this whole situation and scenario. A lot of different strategies and tactics are used. So again, back to that behavior, and how, some of this stuff goes down. It's really important to let other people know. And, I sympathize with what you've gone through, and it's definitely not an easy situation when you put your faith and trust in somebody. And I guess one of my main goals here is to get to the main reasons why the faith and trust is put in these type of projects, to help further prevent any kind of stuff like this from happening to anybody that may be in a situation like yours, and just kind of bring that to light. So
Well,
I
I
appreciate
think that they're
that
very
post.
savvy in marketing, but what you think they're marketing a product, they're really marketing themselves because they take advantage of situations with high visibility. For example, one example was there was a lot of promo over the fact that Russ was in Mayweather's inner circle. He was pictured with Mayweather. He was um, there on preview night, and you would have thought that they had a very close working relationship the way it was framed to the community. And I have since realized that basically he was just another guy in the line there to pay for a photo op. And he did get to walk out with Mayweather, I think, but I don't know if the way it happened was just happenstance or if he just was in with another group that was close to Mayweather as he was coming out to the ring. But those kind of imageries to new investors and to people at large kind of gives credibility to the guy without any, what do I, without any other credentials to measure him by. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So moving
He
forward,
so that's what I'm saying. They're very, very good at marketing, and you think they're marketing a product, but they're really marketing their into to enlarge their community because it's their community that they're drawing off of.
right? Yep. So moving forward, what piece of advice would you give to, someone new to the community of crypto? What piece of advice would you give to somebody that would be vetted by a group like this, or belong to a group like this, or perhaps be pulled from a group that they're currently in to another group like this?
I think that's so hard because I'm still trying to figure it out, but if you're in a group and you just step back and watch the engagement from the people that are heading the group, the moderators, and you get a sense of chaos or shutting down of questions and um, just looking for red flags if they're promoting one particular coin and they're not able to give you the specifics on the utility of the coin, but they're just hyping it, it's probably something that you need to look into a little further. I was just there, they make a lot of people in crypto make it sound like you can just make a ton of money and really, really fast. And it happens, but not as often as it appears when you're in that group, and you start to feel like you're an outsider looking in when they're trying to tell you no, you're in the circle. So I just think that you have to be very, very careful with the people that you are following. Look beyond them and look at their following and the people around them, the type of characters that are moderating for them, their spokespeople, because if you start to get a sense that there's a facade, then take that as a warning.
Great. Great. So I'm gonna wrap this up with a little statement, just to kind of close things off. And thank you so much for your words. Thank you so much for your experience, because it does impact other people, and telling your story is absolutely important for all other people that are willing to listen to this and kind of hear this side of the story out. I'll end on a note. As a part of any crypto investment or crypto community based token, coin, any of that stuff, keep in mind, folks out there, that any project is much like a business in this space. It takes a lot of coding, it takes a lot of preparation, it takes a lot of effort and time to build something with true use case, utility, and value to our world. My purpose here, I fell in love with crypto. I think it can change the world for the better. I think it can help people. I think it can bring names to people who haven't been able to have names because of certain systems in place that don't allow people to build their credit, for example, and things like that. I think crypto has a huge future and a huge impact if we get it right from the beginning. And the foundations are being laid by the community members who are a part of these type of systems, these type of tokens, these type of technologies that are being brought to our world. So all in all, be careful out there. Understand that not every business, it's much like a business. Not every business has our best concern as communities at heart. And that's just the facts, right? From other people's experiences who have been involved. The long-term projects will have steady long-term growth. Using the delayed gratification that we all have available to us, not the instant, we can really forge forward as a full, holistic crypto community. Be great out there, everybody.